Hi, I'm Brian from Reason Test Prep, and in this video we're going to talk about the ACT Science section and whether you should take it. So unfortunately, the test is in flux right now. This recording is being made in spring of 2025, so the situation may change, it likely will change as we learn more information, particularly from colleges and how they're going to treat the new ACT. But we have a lot of students taking the April ACT, and then they're going to be taking it again over the summer, and then of course in the fall. And so it is honestly a moving target, and unfortunately more complicated than it probably needs to be. So first of all, not everyone's going to have a choice as to whether they're taking the science section. That will change in the fall, but over the next few administrations of the ACT, it's going to depend on where you're taking it on what day you're taking it. Is it a school day test? Is it not a school day test? So let me just try to explain all the specifics, and then we'll talk about whether you should, if you have the choice, whether you should take the ACT science section. There's going to be a pretty firm takeaway that I'll lead to at the end. But basically, so through July, the online test will be the new ACT, and the paper-based test will be the classic ACT. That's except for the school day tests, which will be the classic test either way, whether you do it online or paper-based. So if you take through July, if you take the test online, you're going to be taking the new ACT, and the science section will be optional, and you'll have a 3-section composite: English, reading, and math only. So what does that mean? So when you take the test, on the score report, ACT conveniently, creates a composite. It's kind of an average of the scores to give you kind of your overall score. So so if you're taking the online test between now and July, it's going to be this new 3-section composite. Now, science will be optional, so you could take the science section, but it's not going to be included in the composite score. So we're going to come back to what you should do about that, whether you should take the science or not. I'm saving the best for last year. So we'll get there. But if you take the test paper-based between now and July, you will have the classic 4-section ACT and the traditional 4-section composite, which includes the science. So you won't have a choice. You're going to have to take science, and it's going to be included in your composite. Now, starting in September, both the online and the paper-based test will be the new ACT, and that's with the exception of the October school day test. And so all the composite scores, including those for the classic ACT, which will be in that October, that's kind of the one exception, that will be the older version, the classic version on the October school day test. But all of them, including that, the composite will be calculated using English, reading, and math only. So the 3-section composite. So, over the next few months, some people will be taking the classic, some people will be taking the new ACT where science is optional, and then starting in September, pretty much everyone's going to be taking the new ACT where the science section is optional. So, okay, great. What do I do? If I have a choice, do I take the science section or not? So the answer is definitely yes for now. Okay, so here's let me explain the reason why. We don't know yet what colleges are going to do with this new version of the ACT. Even if it's a 3-section composite, are they going to require science scores and just create a 4-section composite? That's very easy for them to do, and it's I wouldn't be surprised if that's what many colleges or most colleges end up doing, is saying, we want the science section, and then they just create a the 4-section composite that is currently what you have on the ACT as of spring of 2025 here. So we don't know. Now, even if a lot of colleges say, it's optional, if you want to send it, great. If not, that's okay. If you're applying to 12 schools and 2 of them require the ACT science section and the other 10 don't, well, then you need the ACT science section. So really, it's only going to be when all the schools are treating the science section as optional, or almost all the schools, or at least all the schools that most people are applying to. Only then can you really say, okay, I'll just basically skip the ACT science section. So that might be in the near future, but I think for the class of 2026, I would definitely advise people to just take the ACT science section and prepare for it and do your best on it, because you might be living in a world where some of or many of the schools or most of the schools or even all of the schools that you're applying to are going to require it. One little addition here that is maybe helpful to think about is that, we have a transition period here where some people are taking the classic ACT and some people are taking the new ACT, right? So, you have people who are sophomores right now who are going to finish or have honestly finished. We have some people who have already finished their ACT, believe it or not. It's a little early, but we have some people who have already finished their ACT prep and took a 4-section ACT where science was not optional. And you'll still have some people doing that over the next, through July, basically. And ACT is going to create a 4-section composite out of that, right? So they're going to have applicants who have a 4-section composite, and who had no choice but to take science. And they're going to have applicants who have a 3-section composite and maybe, chose to not take the science section. So, I don't know, in my opinion, I guess we'll see, but it would be very smart to take the science section and to take it seriously and prepare for it, just in case. And yeah, that's for sure for the class of 2026. And honestly, I guess we'll see. We can revisit this, in a year. We'll see how colleges respond to this, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's even going to be the case for class of 2027. So anyway, bottom line is for the class of 2026 and maybe even the class of 2027, take the ACT science section, prepare for it, treat it like it's equal to the other sections, and do your best on it, because there's a pretty good chance that you're going to either be required to send that score, or at least it'll be considered perhaps. Maybe it's not going to be required, but it's going to be strongly recommended, and maybe you're at a disadvantage if you're not submitting that score. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please feel free to subscribe. And if you know of anyone else who you think might find it helpful, please feel free to share it with them. Thanks again for watching.